We are here to preview the DNC. Russ is live from Chicago right now. So let's give ourselves a taste of what we can expect this week. First of all, the Democrats have built a wall.
If you look behind me over my shoulder, you'll notice those fences and snowplows in place. We've actually watched all morning as they have started to bring in more metal fencing, more barricades, and these snowplows have been kind of navigating around those barricades and getting into place around the UC. Take a look at some of this video we got earlier this morning. You can see a lot of cars have been turning around already as they're met with these new closures that have been set in place overnight and early this morning.
I love democracy. I wish I was going to the convention, but for the neighborhood, there's been no communication and very little engagement of the people who are closest to it. The parking restrictions have changed 3 times in the last week on our block, and no one's communicated to us that the protest route actually goes right in front of our building.
Well, look, if they really wanted to do this right, what they would do is they would put some cages on the other side of the fence, throw some of the ceasefire protesters in the cages, and then have AOC and Rashida Tlaib come and take turns crying at the fence and shake the fence. I mean, they got everybody there as it is anyway, so you may as well take advantage, right? They can come cry at the ceasefire protesters locked in the cage on the other side of the fence. That'd be good theater. That's good optics. That's how you put on a show.
Well, you just gave away their plan for the closing festivities.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I heard they were going to do that on stage. They're going to do it to some old Burt Bacharach tunes, and they're going to drop balloons during it.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, though they built a wall around the United Center. You guys are going to get as close as you can. We will have to see what happens, what the logistics are. In terms of, where these protests are going to start. Most of the protests are starting in Union Park, and then we will see from there what the routes are. You are going to be along for the ride, and we are going to be doing some remote streaming from where you are. I'll be in the control room right here, and so it should be quite the week. Here, let's finish this.
And that resident telling us that most of the information he's gotten actually is coming from us or other local news outlets. He says his hopes are that over the next few days, there's more direct communication from area law enforcement or even from the Secret Service. And really his concerns, Mugo Adrina, have been echoed by a lot of drivers and neighbors we've talked to in this area this morning. A lot of frustrated drivers, to say the least. We know security will just continue to get tighter as we approach opening day on Monday.
There you go. They should have just joined the ceasefire movement, I mean, that's one reason why they should have been advocating for a ceasefire. The fewer protesters, the less traffic, the less complicated it is. But yeah, it is going to be quite the time in Chicago. 100,000 protesters are expected to descend upon Chicago. And we've already been in touch with some people. Russ, you've been in touch with some people. It's going to be quite the week.
It's really amazing because in the past, maybe we weren't really anywhere. This was kind of a hobby for us. We weren't really paying attention. I don't think everyone went to the 2020 convention.
Well, there really was no 20. I mean, that was a lockdown
everyone.
That's why.
Well, that's true. That's true.
And in 2016, the space was not really developed.
The space was not as mature.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I actually forgot that was during COVID. But this, I mean, everyone's here. So it's tomorrow, really, that everyone's going to be converging, I assume, in the same places. I don't want to say this and then have people get their hopes up and then they're disappointed. Me and Nick, we are negotiating with Zach and Gavin for a steel cage MMA fight.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
So we might do that to raise money for Palestine.
Yeah, there we go.
It'll be a charity fight.
Yes, a charity fight. We should have pitched that. That's a great idea. Let's see if they agree. That would be quite something. That would agree. Hey, there's a chance they'll be at the Jill Stein thing.
I'd be surprised if they weren't, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, they're here. I would imagine we're all going to kind of be going to the same things.
But
more or
yeah, man, I
less.
mean, Union Park is where most of these big protests are starting.
Right,
And
right.
they are
They
really
well, the
guarding
Jill
off.
Stein thing is that Lincoln Park? Is that Lincoln Park?
No, that's at a church. I forget where it is.
It's at
We
a
have a
church.
video up, and I'll tweet out the link because everybody who's in Chicago, try and get to that rally. That's going to be a great rally. And so you should definitely try and make it over there. We will tweet out the graphic to it. We have a clip up that plugs it, so it's there too. But yeah, we don't know how close people will be able to get to the United Center. I remember in 2016. The Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, talk about the corporate naming of every venue, right? Wells Fargo Center. That's down by the river in Philadelphia, and there was a huge park that was right across the street from the venue where the Bernie supporters were allowed to protest.
Oh, right, right.
But that was like right across the street from the venue. It was pretty close. I don't think you guys are going to be able to get that close to the venue this time. I think they're going to have it walled off at least a square block or two out.
It sounds like, yeah, well, because they have not faced this level of protest and dissent maybe since 1968.
Yeah, since 1968. Yeah. Yep.
That having a sense of humor, they decided to do this one in Chicago.
Yeah,
in that,
throwback.
in that atmosphere. Don't ever let anyone tell you that neoliberal scumbags have no sense of humor.
That's true. And that must be the motivation. It must just be a troll because usually nowadays you have the convention in a swing state. Like
Right.
the Republicans do it in Wisconsin. Last time the Democrats, it didn't matter where they did it last time. But 2016 was Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, swing state. Charlotte, North Carolina, where the Republicans went, Cleveland, Ohio. Chicago, I mean, that state is pretty much in the bag. I don't think that they're painting that state purple anytime soon. But that's where they chose to have it, and that's where we're going to be.
I must say, and I've been around quite a bit since I've been here. I really haven't let the grass grow under my feet. And I was talking to you about this today. I'm used to such a high level of population density that I just expected when you throw the convention in, that every place was going to be a zoo. And
Right.
it's really not. I mean, I've been going to like the main attractions, and by my New York standards, they're like empty.
Right.
Like they're like the Art Institute of Chicago, and it's not great for Chicago. That's a great museum. That's one of the world's great museums. They have
Yep.
Nighthawks at the diner. They have American Gothic there. A lot of course, you've got Le Grand Jatte from Ferris Bueller. Compared to the Met, is maybe like 10% the number of people you would see at the Met at a normal time.
Right.
Forget about with this like enormous event drawing hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah. No, there's no place like New York. No place like New York.
Please clap.